Former President Donald Trump had to be repeatedly told not to share classified material and information with his buddies. Now, this is according to a New York Times journalist, Michael Schmidt. Here he is on MSNBC talking about how badly Trump was with classified information. This is national security information. Take a look.
Kelly would have to remind Trump he could not share classified information with his friends. Previous Trump advisors have certainly spoken out about how he would often ask, can I keep these documents? They'd say, actually, you can't. Talk about that. Is this something that Kelly expected? And how often did this kind of thing happen?
Well, I think Kelly was terrified about a lot about Trump. The North Korea stuff, the way that he talked about classified information, the way that he would use a personal cell phone to talk to people, you know, and presidents of the United States should not be using their personal cell phones to do that. But Kelly didn't trust that Trump knew how to handle classified information, that Trump would talk openly about these things. And Kelly would try and stop Trump from doing things that could damage national security. Here's the chief of staff to the president of the United States concerned that the president of the United States could damage national security. Remember, the president of the United States is supposed to be in charge of protecting the country, but Trump behaved in such a abnormal, immoral way in Kelly's eyes that he didn't trust what Trump could do.
Yeah. So, look, before I get into some more of the details, right, in my reaction to this, let me just note that John Kelly is not a good person. Again, he's a vicious, vicious person. But at the same time, even he's like, I got to be the adult in the room because Trump's a man baby. He's a man baby. He's going to give away all our secrets. I got to do something. I have to repeatedly tell him, hey, remember Donnie boy, all right? Do not tell the North Koreans our classified information, okay? I know you're having these back and forth with Kim Jong-un, and by the way, I support diplomacy and all that, but he described them as love letters between him and the North Korean dictator. Okay, so Donnie, remember when you and Kim Jong-un, you're gushing over each other, just make sure not to give away all the secrets, okay? Please, Don, just remember that. Okay, John. Well, you can't tell me what to do. Again, the whole thing is ridiculous. But let me just talk about here the quote from Schmidt. He said, Trump behaved in such an abnormal, immoral way in Kelly's eye that he didn't trust what Trump would do. I don't know why that struck me. But it did. Because, like, oh, Donald Trump behaving abnormally, you say? No, the abnormal is normal for him. And so he's been nothing but abnormal. Obviously, of course, sharing classified information openly, it's very concerning. Okay, it's very concerning. And again, especially when you consider when you think about who he considered to be friends, not just North Korean dictator Kim Jong-un, but you also have your local idiots, Roger Stone, horrible people. And by the way, they can be both horrible people and idiots. Steve Bannon, Candace Owens, Kanye West was a friend of Trump. You also had assorted Newsmax and Fox News hosts. Anybody could have been overhearing classified information, or just they didn't even have to overhear it. They would have just been told directly, hey, check it out. I've got this classified information. I declassified it with my mind. I'm going to tell you now because it's super exciting. No, you're not supposed to do that. You're not supposed to do that at all. And it just reminds me, of course,
the brand new F-35s, fighter jets. They're stealth. You can't see them.
Yeah, you can't see them. You can't see them. And we're sharing our technical capability with anybody because I can't help myself. Now think about it, something that was actually like classified. Disastrous. Disastrous. And yet, here we have the Republican Party that is completely focused on Joe Biden. Now, hold on. So, look, Biden's lawyers recently found material from the Obama-Biden administration that was not in the National Archives. And now you have a special counsel that is investigating. I actually don't have an issue with the special counsel investigating to make sure that all the documents were returned, and of course, whether or not Biden had followed proper protocol at the end of the Obama-Biden administration, because I actually do care about national security. This is not a political, like, oh, only Donald Trump did the bad thing. Or, you know, if you're a Republican coming at from that perspective, oh, only Biden did the bad thing and Donald Trump did nothing. No. Yeah, it looks like all presidents, at least the last few that we know, have had some serious issues with making sure to follow the Presidential Records Act. Hey, sorry, if Biden improperly stored documents, then yeah, obviously you should fix that. Of course, of course. But see, here's the thing. The thing that bothers me is the false equivalence of this situation between these two different cases, where you're holding Donald Trump and Joe Biden, and you're saying, oh, they did exactly the same thing, and they did it in the same way, and therefore somehow Biden is worse. No, that's stupid. When it comes to Donald Trump, he not only improperly stored the massive amount of documents he had taken from the White House, which, by the way, he could have avoided this entire situation had he just returned them. But no, he decided he's going to lie about them. He's going to accuse the FBI of planting them. After the FBI was forced to raid the compound. And this is from, by the way, the FBI under Trump appointee Christopher Wray, who did not want to do that. Then it continued to fail to cooperate with the National Archives. And then goes on unhinged social media cry fests over the fact that there is a special counsel that has been appointed. Do you see Joe Biden crying about the special counsel? No. He's been 100% cooperative. Democrats are 100% cooperative. Ilhan Omar recently went out and said, you know what, I think this is actually a good thing. Adam Schiff out there, he's like, well, you know, yeah, there's a chance that Biden did improperly treat documents, and we do need to take these things seriously. Nah, it's interesting. The difference that you see between the Democrats' reaction to Biden doing this, and I do think the Democrats, by the way, well, maybe not the Democratic Party, but the media itself, like CNN, doing an overreaction for the Biden documents thing, versus the Republicans who have ignored it, created conspiracy theories from it, and just swept it under the rug. And by the way, all three things at the same time. And so, look, is for Biden, again, he's been 100% cooperative. He's been directing his lawyers to turn his properties, his residences, upside down to find the documents, which I agree they shouldn't have been there in the first place. And they're returning them. Okay. Biden, again, didn't do what Trump had done. The reaction is really the difference here. He did not try to obstruct the return of said documents. The false equivalency here would normally be unbelievable, but it's totally believable because right-wing media has been looking desperately for any hint of scandal to hit Biden with that resonates with their audience. Notice how they don't talk about, you know, I guess they do talk about certain problems like inflation, the price of eggs, whatever, and they tie everything to Joe Biden himself 100%, while completely ignoring other economic factors, for example, the supply chain issues. Everything is Joe Biden's fault 100% of the time, when there are things that, yes, are maybe indirectly affected by the presidency, of course, but are oftentimes exacerbated by policies that conservatives or pro-corporate, both Democrats and Republicans, have pushed and passed. And by the way, Biden is also a pro-corporate Democrat. And it's a conservative Democrat. So come on. But anyway, the entire news cycle on the right wing has been focused on the alleged hypocrisy of going after Donald Trump for these documents, which, again, far worse than anything that Biden had done, and actually says, no, not only are these two things equal, but what Biden did was far, far worse somehow. But how? You can't make that case. Again, Donald Trump was a national security nightmare. Everybody knows it. The people who were working for him in the White House knew it. That's why there's like, oh, we got to stay in here and make sure that the baby does not, completely destroy our national security and destroy our country. Now, that said, Biden, Clinton, and Obama, those administrations definitely made mistakes. They missed, some of the mishandled documents. Hillary Clinton, which, by the way, was not an administration. Sorry to make an incorrect reference there. But when Hillary Clinton was at the State Department, and she did her private email, that's mishandling of classified materials. And look, they opened themselves up to possibilities of information having been leaked. Or, of course, when you look in the Obama administration, you had the Snowden leaks. You had all sorts of different leaks. That they alleged were national security issues. Now, I think the Snowden leaks were actually a good thing because we found out what our government was actually up to. That said, when it comes to national security, no administration is airtight. And I think in a lot of cases, or in some cases, that's a good thing that we can actually find out because there are whistleblowers and things, But again, it's not the same. Having a whistleblower, for example, in the Obama administration is not the same for Donald Trump himself to be calling up Sean Hannity at like 3 a.m. or texting Roger Stone, oh man, look at this. I got these documents. They said they're classified, but I'm president of the United States, so I can share them anyway. Check it out, buddy. This is pretty awesome. No, it's not the same thing. Look, there does need to be in the Biden administration an upgrading and updating of standards and procedures when it comes to, security for documentation, including, or I should say, especially in regards to cybersecurity. And that's something that gets glossed over a lot. But at the same time, like I said, the false equivalence drives me crazy. But we're going to continue to hear more and more about it as this goes on.